For us, innovations came from the margins. It's a little bit like the story of Cinderella. uh, so I think I wanted just at this moment to share with you some images about Escuela Nueva, which means new school in Spanish. It's the concept of new school. So I think one of the takeaways we had is for us, since we really learned that we really had to focus on a paradigm shift, that improving the quality of education in Latin America implied more than just expanding our current education systems. More of the same is not enough. And it implies a cultural change, requiring a shift from transmission of knowledge to social construction of knowledge, and a new approach of learning, renovated teaching methods, and a new role of the teacher for the 21st century. So these are some of the images. We had to go beyond the conventional and challenge the conventional way of learning, from a frontal teacher-centered instruction into child-centered, active, participatory, cooperative learning, which is not new. The new thing was putting it in practice, because all these ideas came to the elite schools in Latin America. So what does it promote? Child-centered, active, participatory learning. Flexibility, not automatic promotion. We had to modularize our curriculum in little chunks, so to facilitate that not all people learn the same thing at the same time. So it was flexibility. We have flexible promotion systems. Children finish academic units at their own pace. This is a school in Medellin. We adapted it to the urban areas also, different learning paces. Relevance, I think for us is crucial, based on children's daily life. A new role of the teacher as a facilitator that has more time to know how each child learns, to have more time to learn the different ways they're learning, to know their students, and to introduce more formative evaluation during the process, not at the end when it's too late. Improve teaching practices. We had to compensate for what universities and teacher colleges were not doing. In Latin America, we're very theoretical, and so we give conferences on participatory learning. So we had to sort of see how to reduce that contradiction or eliminate that contradiction, and the teachers lived the same methodologies, that they were exposed to the same methods in their training process if we wanted to make a shift and an attitudinal change. So the first thing is that the teachers were trained with the same cooperative learning approaches, experiential learning, that they had visual images to see that they could do these changes, because we were really fostering a change of attitudes in teachers. That anything the child learned, they could apply with their parents, but not necessarily in so many PTA meetings, but just stimulating dialogues with their parents. Yesterday when we went to the school, this is something that came to my mind. We did not eliminate the concept of homework, but it was just strengthening interaction with their parents and dialogue. So parents involved in the learning process, and sometimes you have parents that are illiterate, but they have something to bring to the table. And what John Dewey said 100 years ago or 90 years ago, you learn democracy in the classroom, so nothing new. School governments, school committees, where children take leadership. Girls' participation is really enhanced. We need more research showing the evidence of how with simple things, girls' participation is boosted and enhanced. And happy, healthy, competent students. We measured self-esteem since 30 years ago, and this was crucial for us. But we also had to develop a new set of learning materials, self-paced, self-directed, reusable. I think the beauty of having financial limitations is you're forced to really think the right interventions, the cost-effective interventions. So these learning guides are like a hybrid between a textbook and the workbook and the guide and the guide and the guide of the teacher, but directed towards the student directly, so we empower the students with first action words and action verbs. Learning guides that promote individual work, collaborative group work, promoting dialogue and interaction among children. Children have to see their eyes, not their necks. Dialogues, promoting dialogue. Simple little Montessori ideas put in practice with low-cost materials, because our costs are just 5% more than the traditional thing. So, and if I tell you how much a cost per year per child is, you wouldn't believe us. And of course, how to strengthen their cultural identity. We started bringing into the classroom, children would go and bring into their classroom aspects of their different cultures. In-classroom libraries next to the children, not so far away, and especially so that children can really learn how to use them. And so a teacher in Latin America, a school principal, if they lose a book, they get sanctioned, so all the libraries are closed. And very simple instruments so children can know how to get to their school and that the teacher have a feeling of what the community is like. Self-control instruments. Teachers spend too much time in Latin America just calling on lists, traditional administrative stuff. Very simple suggestion and commitment boxes, all the things that a democracy needs to be started in the school. So I think we have generated a culture of peace and citizenship. And this is why one of our takeaways is that the impact of not only on cognitive achievement in language and math, our rural schools, when this was well implemented at the national level, 20,000 schools, our rural schools outperformed urban schools. But the most important of all was the impact on peaceful democratic behavior of children, the impact of Escuela Nueva, simply because you learn democracy living it. So personalized and cooperative learning are the basis to develop these competencies. And this is the essence of Escuela Nueva. A good friend of mine, François Tadei in Paris, he says, none of us alone is as smart as all of us together. And we have to learn so much from the ants. He's a biologist and a physicist, and he says we should learn how to cooperate and learn much, much more from the ants. That's it. So we have much more information and research findings. So we invite you also to look at our webpage. And especially, I think the most important thing is that, yes, we can improve quality education in developing countries. We can look for cost-effective solutions. But the most important of all, just go beyond academics. Thank you.